Hey guys, welcome back. We all know that BTS just had their speech at the UN for UNICEF. If you guys don't know, it is a campaign to help youth or children who are abused or don't really get their basic needs. So the fact that BTS is at the UN to speak about youth and to speak about children getting help, I think that is, that alone, you don't even have to know who BTS is, but just that alone, having someone speak upon youth and the struggles that youth goes through, that is already like, that's empowering. It's something that a lot of people are afraid to do. A lot of people are afraid to speak up on, what they need help on or what they need in general. And so I'm just so glad that BTS is there to do this. And the fact that they're a boy group, it's very odd to people, I believe, because when you think of UN, you're not exactly thinking of K-pop boy group or musicians in general. I think it's hard for people to get the connection that BTS talks about youth, and they just talk about wanting to help everyone who's going through daily struggles, whether it's learning how to love yourself or learning how to find your dreams or just learning about yourself in general. So I did watch the live stream already. They're just amazing, and I always use the same pronouns to describe them because that's what they are to me. They're amazing, they're talented, they life-changing, everything. And I feel like people think you're crazy when you describe these things about a certain group because, it's just music and it's just another boy group to them. So it's kind of like, why are you so passionate about them? And I feel like that's something hard for people to understand if they don't know who BTS are or the things they've done to change people in their lives. And I feel like we have to get a better understanding of that with other people. It's like music is our passion or the lyrics are our passion, and to other people, even though it may not be, that's perfectly fine. I mean, everyone has their own passions. So I just hope that people come to understand why we're passionate about BTS, and the fact that they spoke at the UN about youth takes it up a notch on why BTS is so important to us and why they're just not an ordinary boy group who sings about love and relationships, because we get a lot of that already. And you know what, those songs are absolutely amazing because when people speak about relationships and love, I think that's cool. But when they speak about youth and learning how to love yourself, I think a lot of people can relate to it because everyone struggles with that every day, especially with the media and the mindset that we have to look like each other and act like each other or else you can't be accepted. I'm just gonna stop rambling on because I'm super passionate when it comes to this stuff. I don't know why, but it just makes me super passionate, especially with BTS. But their speech at the UN to talk about UNICEF, I am gonna watch that at the same time as I am talking. So we're just gonna watch it together, and we're gonna take it apart and just to see what my thoughts are.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, UNICEF Executive Director, and all the excellencies and distinguished guests from across the world. My name is Kim Namjoon, also known as RM, the leader of the group BTS. It is an incredible honor to be invited to an occasion with such significance for today's young generation. Last November, BTS
The way he
launched the Love
talks.
Myself campaign with UNICEF, building on our belief that true love first begins with loving myself. We're partnering with UNICEF's End Violence program to protect children and young people all over the world from violence. And our fans have become a major part of this campaign with their action and with their enthusiasm. We truly have the best fans in the world.
Okay, so I'm just gonna pause it here. When he talks about us, I get super emotional. Okay, I might get emotional when I watch this because I was crying when I watched the original thing. When he talks about us, he always like smiles, or he gets like, I feel like he kind of like blushes a bit. That makes us as fans feel really important to these people that people just claim as musicians or someone who's just doing this for the money, you know. And the fact that BTS actually makes music to relate to us, and not just themselves, but to find ways to relate to us and the struggles that we're going through, I think that's the kind of connection we have that other people don't have with musicians that they like. I mean, there are musicians who do write other music like that too, but the way we feel about BTS isn't wrong. So I just want people to know that. So when Namjoon mentions our name, you know, ARMYs, he's letting us know that, hey, I didn't forget you guys. You guys are an important part of where we are today and why we're here making this speech at the UN about UNICEF. Some of you may be new or old fans, you know. You did make an impact when it comes to UNICEF, by the way. So if you bought any merch or you bought any albums or anything like that, you were contributing to UNICEF, and you were giving money to this charity to help kids who's gone through violence or who's been abused. So I just want you guys to know that. If you don't know that, I just wanted to say that real fast.
And I'd like to begin by talking about myself. I was born in Ilsan, a city near Seoul, South Korea. It is a really beautiful place with a lake, hills, and even an annual flower festival. I spent a very happy childhood there, and I was just an ordinary boy. I used to look up at the night sky and wonder, and I used to dream the dreams of a boy. I used to imagine that I was a superhero who could save the world.
Okay, so when this part meant a lot to me. When he mentioned the night sky, the first thing I thought of was Answer Love Myself, because in that song, the lyrics, it says, even the scars that were formed from my mistakes are my own constellations. And I just I felt so much when I read that lyric. And then when he mentioned superhero, I thought of Anpan-Man. That song obviously also has an amazing message where Anpan-Man is a bread guy, a bread superhero, I guess you could say. And he just gives himself to people who are starving. I don't really know too much of the backstory, but and this is pretty much like BTS giving themselves to us, that I may not have a lot, but I'll give myself to you. And that just meant a lot to me when I heard him say superhero. But this is him talking about when he was a kid though. But that's the first thing I thought of. Anyways, let's go.
And in an intro to one of our early albums, there's a line that says, my heart stopped when I was maybe 9 or 10. Looking back, I think that's when I began to worry about what other people thought of me and starting seeing myself through their eyes. I stopped looking up at the night skies, the stars. I stopped daydreaming. Instead, I just tried to jam myself into the malls that other people made. Soon, I began to shut out my own voice and started to listen to the voices of others. No one called out my name, and neither did I. My heart stopped and my eyes closed shut.
Okay. I'm sorry if I look like I'm gonna cry, because I probably am. But, oh my God. Okay. So that part, oh, I can't. I feel like something just there when I'm listening to him talk, because it's true. I feel like some point in our life, we all just kind of stop believing in ourselves, and then we fall into this hole where we're just trying to fit in with everybody. And it's so sad, because I have younger siblings, so I know what it's like. I'm the oldest child, okay, and there's a lot of weight on my shoulders. I'm not as great as people would like me to be, but I think that's the reason why we choose to listen to other people, because we're so busy putting our expectations based on how other people want to see us instead of how we want to see ourselves. And I think at a point in our life, everybody, if not most people, stop dreaming, stop imagining, and they just close that door, and then they open another one to where it's just not who they want to be. And they just, like Namjoon said, they mold into someone that's not them. Instead, they mold into someone that other people want them to be. I really like that he said that part. And then from then on, you just close your eyes, you close your heart, you take away what you didn't know would be your passion, and you end up doing something that you don't want to do. And that's how a lot of people are living their lives right now. They're doing something that they don't want. I mean, there's a lot of people who are doing things that they love, you know. I think that's amazing. But I feel like we limit ourselves to who we can be because other people tell you you're not going to make it if you do that, or your dreams are silly, don't talk about those things. And people just push what society is used to pushing, and they push what other people pushed on them, so they think that's the right answer, but they don't know that there is no right answer. You live your life based on how you want it and what you want to do with your life, your passions and what you love. I feel like we focus too much on what other people love and not about what we love, and then we end up losing ourselves and we forget what our passions are, and then we just end up doing this regular routine where we're just striving to be who we're not.
So, like this, we all lost our names. We became like ghosts. But I had one century, and that was music. There was a small voice inside of me that said, "Wake up, man, and listen to yourself."
Wake up, man.
But it took me quite a long time to hear music calling my real name. Even after making the decision to join BTS, there were a lot of hurdles. Some people might not believe, but most people thought we were hopeless. And sometimes I just wanted to quit.
Okay, I'm gonna cry. Oh my god. So okay, if you've been a fan of BTS since the beginning, you obviously know everything that BTS has gone through. I've been a fan for 3 years, and they've been BTS for 5 years, so I wasn't there since the beginning, but I really wish I was, but I wasn't. So when he said that people said they were hopeless, oh my god, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cry, but it hurts because I feel like with a lot of people tell them that they're hopeless, not just BTS, but I mean people in general. Oh my god, okay, hold on. When you have a passion and people look at it like it's silly, that's painful. And especially if you're very passionate about it, and especially when it comes to, you know, the music industry or movies and stuff like that, people see it as a joke because it's very hard to get into. I agree completely. But I feel like if you're passionate enough, you can do it. Other people are just bringing them down for it. Like, that's so low, you know. It always hurts me to hear that. But to speak about BTS and people calling them hopeless since the beginning, that hurts a lot. Because from the very beginning, people have hated BTS. And sometimes I would just sit here and wonder why. Sometimes I just read a bunch of stuff, you know, all those hate stuff on Twitter, and even though I shouldn't be, because, you know, it's just painful to read or it's pointless. But when I read it, I'm kind of like, why do you hate them so much? Because, you know, they would do that whole thing where it's comparing, you know, like, oh, my favorites are better than yours, my idols are better than yours, they have this many awards or whatever. I don't care about that stuff. Personally, I don't care. It's the fact that BTS can make our hearts move with their music. That's what matters to me. If your favorite can make your heart move with their music and their lyrics, I think that's the most amazing thing ever. I don't even care, like, if one can sing better than the other, or if one can rap better than the other. If they're rapping about something or singing about something that they're passionate about, then that makes them a musician. If they're able to write lyrics and produce songs that show, you know, their talent, then that's amazing. Why are we doing this comparing game? When I read it online all the time, I'm just like, why are you offended that someone achieved something? Why are you angry that someone got to where they are because of their hard work? And it causes people to think like this, you know. I want to quit. I'm sorry. But it's sad because I hate to see people give up on their dreams because someone told them that they couldn't do it. And or someone forced them to be somewhere where they don't want to be. God, I didn't mean to cry this much. It just bothers me that people push each other to that limit where they're just like, if I can't do it, then neither can you. You know, we're all different. We're all, and we forget, and people forget that we're all human. We all have feelings. We all are, you know, we all have similarities, but also differences. We need to stop pushing each other down just because we want to love something. And it just hurts a lot when I see people doing that to each other, tearing each other down because what they feel isn't good enough. So they tell other people, oh, you're not good enough. And that hurts a lot. But aside from that, let's think positive. But I'm just glad that Namjoon didn't quit and that we have BTS. I think that's one of the best things that I could get out of this. That even with all this hate, they all fought through it, and then here they are now, one of the most successful boy bands in the world. So let's continue. I need to stop crying.
But I think I was very lucky that I didn't give it all up.
Yes.
And I'm sure that I and we will keep stumbling and falling like this. BTS has become artists performing in those huge stadiums and selling millions of albums right now. Mm-hmm. But I am still an ordinary 24-year-old guy.
Now that just tells you how humble Namjoon is and how amazing he is. Because even with all this success, he still has to put out there that, hey guys, I'm still normal. I'm 24 years old. I'm still human. I'm still ordinary. I may have all these talents, but I'm still just a regular guy trying to achieve his dreams and do more. And it doesn't just stop here. He's still out here reminding people that I still do things like a regular person. I wake up every morning, and sometimes I may not want to wake up and I get super sleepy, or sometimes I don't want to do anything. And it sucks that he has to remind people about this, but it's also a good reminder to people that these guys are all human, and that they all, although they have amazing talent, that they still feel how we feel.
If there's anything that I've achieved, it was only possible that I have my other BTS members right by my side, and because of the love and the support that our ARMY fans all over the world made for us. And maybe I made a mistake yesterday, but yesterday's me is still me. Today, I am who I am with all of my faults and my mistakes.
So I also love what Namjoon said here, because I feel like a lot of people don't embrace their mistakes. I know it's hard to, because we all obviously make mistakes, some more so than others. Some mistakes are a lot bigger than others, so that's the hard part. I feel like people, they just set those mistakes aside, and sometimes they don't learn from it. And I think the best thing you can do is, make a mistake and then learn from it and move on. If you continue to make the same mistake, then that just means you've learned nothing. But don't be afraid of who you are when it comes to your mistakes. I feel like a lot of people are ashamed of their mistakes, and I agree with that. It can be pretty shameful. It can, it's painful when people bring up your past mistakes, but I feel like you have to learn to also embrace it and stand next to it and be like, yeah, that was me, and here I am now, a different person. And just to remind people that that's not who I am, and that's who I used to be, and it was a mistake, and I never wanted to be that person, but this is me now learning from everything that I've done. And if people can't learn to accept that, then that just means those people have probably not learned to accept their own mistakes. So I feel like we have to stop pointing at other people for their mistakes, but also realize that we have our own.
Tomorrow, I might be a tiny bit wiser, and that'll be me too. These faults and mistakes are what I am, making up the brightest stars in the constellation of my life. I have come to love myself for who I am, for who I was, and for who I hope to become.
So, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get emotional again. So we know that Namjoon is the one person that, well, we know that every single one of them, but Namjoon is the one who wanted the concept of loving yourself, and he struggles with this every single day. And this just reminds me at when we went to their tour, and Namjoon was telling us in his last ment that he asked himself, "Yo, Namjoon," that's what he literally said, "do you really deserve all of this?" And even like now, with everything that they've earned, all their hard work, the fact that they still question themselves if they deserve all of this, it just lets you know how humble they really are. That they're here for the music, but they're here for their fans, but it's very hard to believe because of everything that they went through. And that's just so sad to me, but it also makes me so thankful that they haven't let fame get to their head, and that they're still so thankful for everything that's happened. I'm just so proud of BTS and that and their successes. To hear Namjoon say that I've come to love everything that I am, from the past me to the now me and to hopefully future me. And it's just so nice to hear Namjoon say that, because he struggles so much with loving himself. And especially with the everyday hate that they get with people telling them you're never going to be good enough, or you guys are hopeless, or your group sucks, or you guys can't get anywhere with the type of music you're doing, And the fact that they're just like, it doesn't matter what you say anymore. I love myself. So that means I'm capable of doing everything that I know I can. And that's so empowering, especially to youth that they're talking about, and to us, that we can do whatever we want as long as we put our mind to it, and as long as we remind ourselves that we love ourselves throughout the whole process of trying to get to where we want to be.
I like to say the one last thing. After releasing our Love Yourself albums and launching the Love Myself campaign, we started to hear remarkable stories from our fans all over the world, how our message helped them overcome their hardships in life and start loving themselves.
Okay, I'm gonna get emotional again. Why am I not though? But when I see ARMYs write their stories on Twitter or about how BTS has helped them with their lives, it makes me like so happy, because I feel like right now a lot of people don't know where to go or where to turn, especially with their facing troubles at home, at school, in their profession. It's everything revolved around the world that keep tearing people down. And I feel like we need a lot more things to just uplift us. There's so much negativity in this world, and the fact that BTS can be their little positive light during all that negativity is absolutely amazing. Like, I don't care what you like, whether it's BTS, whether it's sports, or whether, something that you just love. The fact that it could just bring happiness to your life amidst all of the negativity, that is absolutely amazing. And I love reading stories of how things or people just impacting each other and bringing positivity and light to their life. It makes my heart feel so much warmth inside, and my body just feels so much like, I can't even explain it. It's just like such a good feeling to feel when I read these stories, and how BTS has done so many amazing things to people. And when they found them, you know, when they were going through the lowest part of their lives, or when they are going the lowest part of their lives, they listen to a BTS song and they just feel all these amazing positive messages from it. And I feel like a lot of people overlook those things. They're kind of like, or they look at BTS, they're just like, regular boy band. And that sucks, because all these people are missing out on something amazing. And they're missing the point that people don't just love them for their looks. That comes with it. But they love them for their music, for the lyrics, the fact that they can relate to it. That's the biggest part of being an ARMY. The fact that you could relate everything to what BTS is writing, to all the lyrics that they're doing, the producing. It means a lot to people, and I hope that people continue to understand that, because all of this is not, you know, a joke to people, and they think it is, because they're just like, oh, it's just fangirls raging over guys. Like, no, like, that's true that they are, that, you know, we are, that we do love these guys because they look amazing and they do these amazing things and they have amazing talents. But there's this other part where their talent comes with it, where they say things that we can't say ourselves because we don't know how to. And then they write it in lyrics, and then their music speaks for us. And it's absolutely amazing. But I hope people just come to learn, just to understand that a bit more.
Those stories constantly remind us of our responsibility. So, let's take all one more step. We have learned to love ourselves. So now I urge you to speak yourself.
Okay, when he said speak yourself, I was like, that has to be a new concept. Also, the part where he said, that's how we know that's our responsibility. The fact that they have to feel responsible for us, like, that's crazy. We all have a mind of our own. We all can do things. But they know that everybody's watching them. So they feel this responsibility on their shoulders that all these people are watching us. So that means we have a voice then. That means we're able to speak on behalf of things that most people are afraid to talk about. And I think that's amazing that that's what they're using their voice for. It's not just, you know, oh, we're famous now, so let's say whatever the heck we want. It's, we're famous now, but we all know everyone goes through struggles. So let's talk about those things instead. And that's absolutely amazing.
I like to ask all of you, what is your name? What excites you?
This is my
Makes your
favorite
heart
part.
beat? Tell me your story. I want to hear your voice. I want to hear your conviction. No matter who you are, where you're from, your skin color, your gender identity, just speak yourself.
Okay, so this part, I love this part. Okay, I've rewatched this part over and over again. He doesn't exclude anyone, and I think that's the great thing about BTS, that they always say music transcends all languages. We have a bunch of fans, whether it's a guy, a girl, the LGBTQ community, the skin of your color. Like, it doesn't even matter what you are. Our music relates to everybody, and that's the great thing about it. That music can bring people together, that the message can bring people together, that we're all struggling with something, whether it's loving yourself or facing your dreams or going through problems by yourself, that their music can bring people together. And it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what clothes you wear, what you look like. It's absolutely amazing. And I'm so glad that he said this, because a lot of people think, you know, BTS is, oh, just cares for Korea or whatever. No, he wrote this in English. His speech is in English. He didn't even have to. He could have just spoken in Korean, but he chose to do it in English, something that is obviously not his language. That's not his first language, but he chose to do it this way. And it just upsets me so much that people that they just see a pretty face when they see BTS and they don't look more into it. And They don't know that the message these guys are trying to come across is we can all come together and become one. Especially with our music, about loving yourself and finding yourself and just being who you are. Like that's what everybody faces, I feel. Personally, I feel like everybody faces that. And some find it earlier than others. But I'm just so glad that Namjoon said this, and that it just, a reminder to people that it doesn't matter who you are, okay? We all can love the same thing, and that's okay.
Find your name and find your voice by speaking yourself.
I also, before I continue, he asked the question, what do you love? What makes your heart beat? What convicts you? What makes you you? What are your passions? I want to know. Tell me your story. And I feel like not enough of us ask each other that. Like, hey, what do you love? Why are you doing what you're doing? What keeps your drive? What makes you want to wake up every day in the morning to do these things that you do? And if everything you're doing you don't have the answer to, then maybe you should think about it and think about what are your passions. And I feel like nowadays everybody just wants to scream at each other instead of listen to each other. So I hope that we all just come to understand each other a lot more instead of just, shouting at each other and telling each other that we're not good enough.
I'm Kim Namjoon, and also RM of BTS. I'm an idol, and I'm an artist from a small town in Korea.
He is the idol reference.
Like
cool.
most people, I've made many and plenty mistakes in my life. I have many faults, and I have many more fears, but I'm going to embrace myself as hard as I can, and I'm starting to love myself gradually, just little by little. What is your name? Speak yourself. Thank you very much.
Okay, so that speech was, it was just amazing as I expected, because I knew that Namjoon would be this amazing. When is he not, though? Because Namjoon is just amazing at what he says, what he does. Even though the boys are not talking, I know they're all thinking the same thing. And that they all want to say something, I'm pretty sure. But they've limited them to 3 minutes, and Namjoon spoke like almost 7. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure no one's mad in it. They're probably just like, that was freaking amazing. I can't believe we were here to witness this. But yeah, so I'm just so glad that the UN decided to have BTS come and talk to them about youth and about loving yourself, and on behalf of UNICEF, because kids and youth goes through struggles every day just as much as adults do. They struggle with themselves, especially if they're all in school. All they hear are all these opinions telling them what they should and shouldn't do, and should and shouldn't look like. So yeah, I'm just so glad that I'm alive when BTS is alive. We should all be, just thankful that something like this is happening now, that someone's actually deciding to speak up about these things. It's not just about where you should be in life, but it should be about who you are and why you are placed in your certain area right now, where you are in your life, and how important your life really is, not just to you, but to other people. But and also a good reminder that you should always love yourself through everything, whether it means more mistakes or not, that you should mean the most to yourself, and that your biggest enemy and your biggest fan is yourself. And every day we all fight with ourselves when we wake up, like, oh my gosh, I have to do this for myself, I have to do these things for other people. And I just hope that people don't forget to love themselves in the process, because there are so many things that go on in this world, and so many opinions, and so many just struggles that we all face with every day. So I just hope that we all just continue to show love, and that we all deserve to be here, and we all have an important role in this world, that you were born for a reason, and you were made to do something. Yeah, but thank you guys so much for watching. I will put this link in the description below so you guys can also watch it yourself and hopefully be impacted by Namjoon's words, because I know I was. And I just want to thank him so much for saying these things and speaking about youth. And I just want to thank BTS so much for just being so real with us, being so raw, and just showing us that we all matter, and that loving yourself is truly, truly important, and that we deserve to be happy. We deserve to strive for our passions. And thank you, BTS, for always thinking about us alongside just thinking of yourself. Because just know that even though we're all struggling, we also know that you're struggling with, these inner thoughts that, we all face. And I just want you guys to know that armies are so grateful to have you guys. And the only reason why you have us as fans is because you're so real with us, and because you speak on behalf of these things that a lot of musicians wouldn't. So, yeah. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.